Rockford public high schools will feel a lot safer this year thanks to a new weapon detection system. 23 News reporter Jake Pearson shares how the new sensors will deter people from bringing weapons to school.
The Evolve Weapons Detection System allows students to pass through without stopping to get their backpacks checked. The system's artificial intelligence can identify and flag any weapons in bags or under clothes that pass through.
Sir, I'm going to need you to step over to this camera, please.
Protecting students is priority number one for Rockford Public Schools. That's why a new security system is being installed at the entrances of each high school. The Evolve Weapons Detection System can instantly distinguish weapons from everyday items like car keys and pens.
This technology, which is not a traditional metal detector, so it's using AI and identifying not just what is a metal, but what composition that metal might be and the shape of the metal. So that's where you're kind of getting away from the cell phones and all those things that would cause delay.
RPS leaders say they saw the positive results Evolve's detectors brought to a school district in Ohio, which is a similar size to District 205.
They saw a significant decrease in discipline because of these, one being a major deterrent, and students are maybe thinking twice about bringing things in, but their disciplinary stats dropped and they're not seeing weapons come in their buildings.
While the goal is to detect weapons before they hit the hallways, Barthel says he hopes it will stop people from even trying to bring weapons to school in the first place.
We do understand that there might be that perspective where we do have parents concerned, well, if my student is coming in the building and they've not done anything, is this an inconvenience for them? But the overwhelming response is this is going to help remove another barrier for our students to have to think about, am I safe or not coming in our buildings?
In total, 18 systems will be installed at entrances to Rockford high schools. The estimated price of the Evolve security systems will cost the district about $625,000 per year for a 4-year contract.
Before the safety systems can be integrated into schools, staff must be trained on how the scanners operate. The detectors are expected to be installed in mid-August this school year.